Hi, I'm Doug McKenna. I use he, him, and his pronouns. I'm currently the University Registrar at George Mason University, right here. I am applying to the PhD program. I had intended to apply for this fall, and then a little thing called COVID got in the way and made my life a little bit crazy for the last 3 or 4 months. I have been in higher ed for about the last 18 years. I have been in the registrar's office at a variety of institutions that entire time. I started my career in higher ed working at the University of Notre Dame, then moved to Michigan State University, then moved back to the DC area to work at George Washington University. Then I became the registrar at American University. And then last year I moved to George Mason also as the university registrar. I grew up as a child of a military officer, so we moved around every 2 to 3 years. I was actually born in Panama and then moved to North Carolina, to New York, back to North Carolina. I lived in Germany for 3 years. Then we moved to Kansas. That was a very big culture change between living in Europe and then living in Kansas. And then back to New York. And actually lived in government housing for the entirety of my childhood. The first time I didn't live in government housing was the dorm that I moved into at the University of Notre Dame. So I'm a Notre Dame grad and then did my graduate work at Michigan State University while I was working there. I am interested in a variety of things about higher education, and that's the area of specialization within the PhD in Education program that I am interested in pursuing. One of the things that I think is really important is trying to unpack sort of the intercultural competencies that are necessary between all of the various sort of subcultures on campus. The IT side has a particular focus and a particular culture. The faculty have their own culture. Administrators have their own culture. Students have their own culture. And what does it take to make this enormous enterprise of higher education work and run and flow smoothly? I live here in Fairfax, Virginia, with my wife and 2 kids. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old who are both starting school virtually this fall, also thanks to COVID. We have a Bernedoodle puppy who is a 1.5 years. Her name's Daisy. She, like some of you have commented, may make some appearances throughout some of the meetings. She has been definitely involved in some Zoom meetings, making her presence known. What do I do for fun? I play the guitar. I am a runner. I sort of make art. There's one example hanging in the office there. It's mostly just poured acrylics on canvas. A lot of times it's very messy. A lot of times it doesn't turn out looking like anything, but it's fun to do, and that's important. I also host a podcast for the American Association of Collegiate Registrars and Admissions Officers called For the Record. It's available wherever fine podcasts are streamed. And what else? We are all hunkered down here in our house. We experienced a series of disappointments. We had tickets to Hamilton, tickets to Bye Bye Birdie, tickets to Jesus Christ Superstar, tickets to Wicked, tickets to see the Indigo Girls and Ani DeFranco, tickets to see Head and Heart, tickets to see Trey and the National Symphony Orchestra. All of those events have been canceled. Kids camps were canceled. My son and I were supposed to go to Florida for a Boy Scout trip, also canceled. So it's been an interesting summer for all of us, but I think that we are hanging in and getting by. With work, it's been crazy. The Safe Return to Campus plan that is now published started back in March, and I've been on calls 3 to 4 times a week at an 1.5 to 2 hours per day, in addition to all of the regular, hey, be the registrar kind of work. So it's been a very interesting learning process. It's always fascinating to be involved with large committees in higher ed because you see things and you learn about things that you hadn't known before, which is very exciting. The complexity of our enterprise is staggering, and the number and types of people who are required to make it work is amazing. And so I am pleased to work in higher ed. I would like to continue to work in higher ed. And that's one of the reasons that I'm pursuing a PhD. Excuse me. I believe that that's it. If you have any questions, please let me know. See mcken@gmu.edu. I look forward to talking to everybody, watching your videos and responding.